This was supposed to be about carbon cycle, but we went a bit into details about ice ages, ice albedo feedbacks, and so on. Why? Because carbon cycle is intimately tied to the glacial, deglacial cycles, as we call them, ice ages and no ice age. There is no such thing because even now there are glaciers on Greenland and Antarctica, so we are kind of a warmer ice age, let's say, compared to 20,000 years ago when the glaciers were much further down on Europe and North America, and entire world was much colder. So that was a colder ice age, let's say. But without getting confused, why do we want to worry about carbon cycle and ice ages together? Because we said if orbital forcing changes in a way to reduce the energy coming in and glaciers begin to grow, albedo goes up, more sunlight gets reflected back to space, temperatures get even colder, which means the atmosphere gets drier and snowfall rates get smaller, and the glacier growth begins to be slower and slower, and the carbon dioxide and other carbon forms get buried under the glaciers and in the ocean under sea ice. So the entire global CO2 concentration goes down, which also makes the temperatures weaker because it makes the greenhouse effect weaker. Remember, CO2 is a greenhouse gas, right? So this is why carbon cycle, ice albedo feedback, ice ages are all tied together. And if the orbital forcing changes in a way that the energy coming in goes up, independent of the glacier extent and albedo, you may be in an ice age, orbit may change in a way that sun's energy goes up. So glaciers begin to melt, albedo goes down, and more energy is trapped by the earth into the oceans and so on. More glacier melts, it gets even warmer. More CO2 begins to come out from under the glaciers and the ocean. That makes it even warmer. So you can go very rapidly melting all the glaciers. And as we said, the glacier melt happens much, much more rapidly than the building of glaciers because of this drying atmosphere, smaller snowfall rates, and so on. And now what are we doing? We are increasing CO2 by burning fossil fuels, which means we are warming and melting glaciers and reducing albedo and keeping more energy in the system and warming further and melting more glaciers. Albedo is getting smaller and so on. So all these are always connected. CO2 has always been a big part of the Earth's climate regulation and life as a whole. This is why carbon cycle and ice ages are all connected, okay?